Welcome back. This is part 1, video 3 of my Eyes guide. In this video, I'm going to be talking about openings. Eyes has 2 openings, and one of them is the minor build, which this is the build I prefer, and that's going to be a style where we're going to play along this plays route, and we're going to go to 4 plays, and then we're going to enter a reclaim loop, very similar to River. But it also has a major/mix build where I like to go to 3-2, and then I like to go down to 4 plays. I'm going to show both builds. I think the minor build may be better. I've played way more games with the minor build than the major build, but recently I've been playing more games with the major build, and I think it actually has promise to be pretty powerful. So I'm not sure which one is better yet. Just to do some review on nomenclature, so this T here, this is going to refer to what turn number. The G is going to refer to which growth option. So this is going to be our G1, that will be our G2, and then this last one will be our G3. And then finally, this last letter here, this B, that means bottom. That means I'm going to place presence from bottom. While if I have a T, that means top. That means the presence will come from the top. Let's look at the opening now. The minor's preferred opening. Turn 1, we're going to G3. Taking a presence from our bottom track, we're going to gain a minor, gain an energy. So we should be at 2 energy this turn. We're then going to play Abductions plus or minor / Whispered Guidance. So what does this do? By playing Abductions turn 1, we're able to stop a build. We're going to put this G3 presence in a land that's building, and then we're going to stop the build. This will work against everything that's not Habsburg. And then on some boards versus England, you'll also make it work, like if it's board E, board B. There are some explorers that this will stop a build outright. If you're playing, if you don't get a board, if you're playing against England and you don't get a board where this stops a build, you can maybe combo with someone else where you can stop one of their builds on their board instead. You then get a minor, and ideally you want this minor to be a 0 cost. So just like River, you don't have that energy income to play 1 costs, so you need a 0 cost minor here. You can grab a 1 cost, it's possible, but I tend to grab zeros if I can find one that's on element. But we play 0 cost, or we play guidance. If we play guidance this turn, what this does is it enables our innate here, and that allows us to gather a Dahan, as well as we get to gather 3 more Dahan in the slow. So we can gather a bunch of Dahan to set up for our Ravages next turn. The negative to doing something like this is we don't have our gather for next turn to set up for turn 3 Ravage, or our second Ravage that comes up. Ideally, you want to play like Gifted Constancy, Nature's Connection, not Drift Down, thinking of the 0 cost, Flow Down River. You want just any 0 cost here to combo with your Abductions. So now turn 2, so this goes into discard. We have 1 energy now. Turn 2, we're going to G2, presence from bottom. And now we gained our energy, we have 2 energy, so now we can actually play all 3 of these cards. And what this does is we get tier 2 of our innate. We then get a defend 4, which we usually end up giving this out to another player, so we're supporting someone. We then can move to Han, setting up for our second Ravage, and then we get to push 2 things in the slow and get 2 fear. As you can probably see here, very, very powerful. Some slight variations based on like the adversaries. Sometimes you need to defend 8 with this card, which means you don't get to play your noises. So you'd play these 2 cards, you'd get your defend 2 plus your defend 8 here. Because you would spend 1 energy to upgrade your watchful guarding from 4 to 8. Another option, so like, remember we talked about turn 1, what happens if we play Abductions, and now let's say we're playing a 1 cost card here. What ends up happening is we'll be at 0 energy here. So on turn 2, let me just grab a random minor here. So now on turn 2, when we G2 bottom, we'll only have 1 energy. So once again, we won't be able to play Eerie Noises, which means we're just stuck playing Boon of Watchful Guarding and Guidance. So that's the negative if you play a 1 cost on turn 1, but like as I mentioned, if you play that 0 cost, you get to play all 3 cards. So that just shows you what I meant when I want that 0 cost versus the 1 cost. Turn 3, we G1, we reclaim. And then the cards that you play here, it's kind of, you really don't know. It just depends on what do you need. Do you need to stop a build? Do you need to prevent a city build with eerie noises? Do you need to set up Dahan? Do you need to defend 4? And then you'll have 2 minors here, so you have plenty of options. But regardless, turn 2, we're going to go bottom, bottom, and then you're going to play 3 other cards, and then ideally you're going to shoot for this tier of the innate. So you have your defense 6, and at that point, you're going to, for the rest of the game, you get 1 energy here. You get your 1 energy on your G1. So now if you were to play Guidance, Watchful Guarding, Abductions, and all you need, actually you don't want Abductions, you want Eerie Noises. There you go. So all you need now is a single Moon Plant 0 cost, and you max out your innate the rest of the game. A good example of that card would be 0 Moon. Lure of the Unknown. Let me pull that guy out. Here we go. Here's a 0 Moon Plant card. It's actually Tri-Element. I think this is one of the few Tri-Elements in the game that hit your entire innate, but you play this and look at boom. You hit your innate and you get it on Reclaim. And the reason why this is so important is like this is why you enter that Reclaim loop and it's just busted, right? You're getting 5 Fear. That's also a Defend 12. You then get a Defend 4, or you give this out supporting someone. You then have your Dahan movement such that you can just keep setting up into your defend, right? You move Dahan in the previous turn, and then you defend that land. Move Dahan, and then you move the Dahan out for the next turn, right? And then this is disrupting a build, and then this is disrupting a build. And as you can see, like you're getting 5 Fear plus Fear here, plus 2 more Fear here. You're just getting so much Fear, and you just get it on a Reclaim. So this build usually ends up into a Reclaim. Sometimes you don't get this max defend, and then you have a bunch of cards in hand, and then you can G2 top, and then just work your way along top track as well. But I find that most of the time, once you get to turn 5, turn 6, usually you have enough tempo to where the game is just kind of, you just want to get the 5 Fear every turn and just run them over. So thinking if there's anything else to talk about here. We've already talked about 1 cost versus 0 cost. I think that's it for the minor build. Yep. Okay, so let's look at the major build. This is the more interesting build, and it's all the way up here. So there's a lot more moving parts here. Okay, major build, mixed. We're going to turn 1, we're going to G2, and we're going to go top, top. And how that looks is it's going to look like this. We're going to take our 2 presents from top track, and then we are going to get 2 energy. The cards that we're going to play is either going to be one of these 3. Eerie Noises, Mysterious Abduction, Whispered Guidance. And it really just depends on the adversary and the turn 1 Explore. For instance, if you need to get your Dahan ready to take out a city land, you want Guidance, right? If you want to stop a build, you want Abduction. If you want to stop a future city build, or maybe a Ravage, or a future city build for turn 2, or a town that just built and that's ravaging this turn, then you would play Eerie Noises. And it depends. I prefer Abductions. I find that to be the most smooth out of the options. So I play Abductions turn 1, and you have 1 energy. Turn 2, I like to G2 again, and I go top, bottom, usually. Sometimes you can go top, top, and I'll explain that variation here. But I like to go top, bottom, and I like playing 2 cards. So this is how it looks turn 2. You're going to have 3 energy. Assuming you played Abductions turn 1. Oh, I don't know why I teleported there. And the 2 cards we're going to play is going to be Watchful Guarding and Guidance. Now, it doesn't have to be these 2 cards. In fact, it doesn't, like, you could maybe get away with just playing 1 card. It just depends on, once again, what do you need? What's ravaging? What's building? But the idea behind this is you stopped a build with Abductions. You stopped 1 out of your 2 builds with your Abductions. The second build is Ravaging, but now you have your Defend, right? You either have your Defend from Whispered Guidance plus Watchful, or plus Boon of Watchful Guarding, or maybe Boon of Watchful Guarding is enough just to defend the land. And like I said, it just depends on what build, what ravaged. But let's just say you play these 2 cards on turn 2. Turn 3, we're going to G3 now, and we're going to go top, and we're going to grab that. And we're going to grab that spot from top track. Now you're looking at 3-2, and look at, you're going to have 5 energy, plus 2 energy here. So you're actually at 7 energy this turn. And you have eerie noises left, and this is where you can go with the minor or the major. And that just depends on if you want the flex to do the mix build or if you want to high roll majors. And it really just depends on your play style and what you're trying to do. But the idea behind this build is we're going to have 7 energy by turn 3, and you're in a phenomenal shape there. You would be able to play eerie noises plus your minor, and then no matter what, eerie noises plus this plant is going to give you your defend 2. So unless you're playing against like Russia or like an extra damage adversary, this defend 2 is going to be enough to defend the land. And then if you grabbed a major, you can forget abductions if you want. Looking at turn 4, I like to G1, reclaim. And this is where you can get a major minor again. So like if you're trying to go that major route and you missed turn 1, okay, next turn you get to re-roll. So you have another 4 looks at a major. And finally, your turn 5, you're going to G2, and then this is where we're going to start going bottom track. And you might say, well, why not you get your 4 energy? Well, you really don't need the 4 energy in the moon. This moon is nice to have. It allows you to hit your innates a lot smoother, but the extra card play is far more valuable than the extra energy every turn. You'll notice once you're at this point, you have so much energy, you can't spend it all with only 2 plays. And like your cards are really good. It's like you want to be playing these cards, but like they don't cost energy, so you're stockpiling all of this energy and you just can't spend it. So going to 3 plays is what I would recommend here. And then so that would be turn 5, you'd go to 3 card plays. Actually, it would look like this. There we go. So you'd be at 3 energy and 3 card plays, and then ideally turn 6, you either go to 4 card plays and then or you'd end up reclaiming instead. It just depends on how many cards you have in hand. So now I said here on turn 2, you have this small alternative option that I've kind of been toying around with. And the idea is instead of going top-bottom, like here, where is it? Instead of going top-bottom here, you actually go top-top. So the big positive here is you're going to gain 1 extra energy, but more importantly is you get to save one of these cards so that you can play it on turn 2. Or not turn 2, turn 3. Why is that important? Well, you'll notice with eerie noises plus your plant up here, you hit your tier 1 of your innate. But there are some cases where you need that defend 4, and you don't want to rely on getting a minor card that's moon plant to hit the defend 4. So by waiting on not playing both cards on this turn 2, you can delay one of the cards to turn 3. Now, I think overall this style here is just outright weaker because you're not maximizing your card plays. If you look at the previous version here, I had turn 1, you're playing 1 card, turn 2, 2 cards, turn 3, 2 cards, and you've used up all 5 of your cards. With this version here, where you go top, you're only playing 1 card here, and you don't know what card you're playing. And then turn 2, you're going to still do that G3. You're still following the same opening here. It's just you've gained 1 extra energy, and you're for sure going to get your defend 4 here on turn 3, at least your defend 4. But yeah, it looks pretty much the same. I really think if you're going to go with this major build, I think you should just do the top-bottom. However, I have had success just going top, turn 2 top, and then turn 3 on G3 bottom. I've had success there as well, so I can't say that build is just terrible, but I think this top-bottom build on turn 2 is slightly better. And just again, what I'm referring to is you're placing a presence here on top, and then you're placing a presence here on bottom on turn 2, rather than placing presence here on top and then presence here on top. So those are the 2 videos, or not 2 videos, those are the 2 openings for Eyes. I hope this video helped somebody that's trying to learn Eyes' openings. In the next video, we'll be talking about board selection. See you then.